Star Wars Outlaws. Released August of 2024. Available on all modern platforms. Retailing at $69.99 on everything except Switch 2, where it is only $59.99. Star Wars Outlaws is an open-world game, taking place across multiple planets, the space around the planets, and is centered around the illegal activities that go on in the Star Wars universe. And it takes place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. You play as Kay Vess, a young woman hoping to make a name for herself as an outlaw. You work for 4 different outlaw factions: the Pike Syndicate, the Crimson Dawn, the Hutt Cartel, and the Ashiga clan. You will inevitably work for all 4 of them, and against all 4 of them, with all of them having minor missions you can pick up at essentially any time, with some missions being restricted till you have worked with them for a little bit. Small missions will raise your standing with that syndicate and get you a little credits. You'll almost always get an offer at the end of the mission to betray the syndicate you're working for, oftentimes for more credits. The bigger contracts, and story missions oftentimes, will make you choose one faction or another. Do you want to help the Pike Syndicate? Well, it's gonna really hurt you with the Crimson Dawn this time. Do we let the Crimson Dawn keep the information, or do we transmit it to the Hutts? And this is always phrased as being a big, important decision, but in reality, it's very meaningless in the long run, as the game keeps reminding you that these syndicates expect you to betray them at a certain point, and won't hold it against you. So really what you need to do is as many small missions as you can for all of the syndicates, till you're at fairly decent standing with all of them. Then, even if you go against them in a later mission, it'll hurt you with them, but it won't completely erase your good standing. So you can then pick up a few little missions and make it like nothing bad ever happened at all. And once you start having a large amount of credits in the game, you can just buy intelligence reports and give them to the various syndicates to get better standing with them. So essentially in the long run, this mechanic of playing one syndicate against another is completely pointless and a waste of your time to worry about. Now Kay Vess as a character has a ton of skills to unlock, and you're going to be unlocking things hours upon hours into the game. Seriously, 30 hours in, you're still going to be getting new tools, which is a little annoying, because early on you'll see there's places where you need a fusion cutter if you want to get in. You don't even get the fusion cutter on the first planet you're on. In fact, you're not going to get it until you've completed a significant chunk of the story. And that's just her practical abilities. There's a lot of other things you unlock from meeting people out in the world, and then you get something of a to-do list from them. And every goal you accomplish for them gives you some minor bonus. Being able to hold 1 more healing item. Being able to move a little quicker when you sneak. Which is all technically useful, but how important is any of it in the long run? You're also going to have to find a large amount of resources to upgrade your various equipment, which include your blaster in all of its various modes, your spaceship, your speeder bike that doesn't look like any other speeder in the game and looks more like a motorcycle with a jet engine. There is one aspect of this game that legitimately surprised me, and that is the fact we don't meet any known, notable Star Wars character in the early stages of the game. You do see stormtroopers filling the role of cops in this open-world game, but beyond them, the first thing I recognized from Star Wars was that Tatooine is one of the planets you can go to. And once you're there, you very quickly hear reference to Jabba the Hutt, which makes sense as the Hutt Cartel is part of this game. But even then, it's not till you've been on Tatooine a while till you actually get to meet him. And when you do, you also get to see Boba Fett if you're looking for him. But it was interesting that this game wasn't overly concerned with the big important characters that most people know and love. In fact, this game goes out of its way to paint the Rebel Alliance as not being great people. As early in the game, Kay Vess gets a death mark on her head, which means she has an extremely large bounty on her head. And she only has this problem because of direct actions on the part of the Rebel Alliance. And despite knowing their role in this, the Rebel Alliance still tries to manipulate Kay to do things for them. And she points out that they're no better than the Syndicate she's working for. And she's right. On the other hand, the Empire is of course present everywhere, which does mean you'll be sneaking into Imperial installations at times, or having to bribe an Imperial official. They never really go out of their way to deal with you. And it's interesting that neither the Rebels or the Empire is treated as another faction you can get in good with. The overall story of this game involves you planning a heist and picking up members of your crew for said heist. And of course, it's not a simple task to recruit any member of this crew. So each member is on a different planet, and once you get to the planet, you have to have a series of misadventures before they join your crew. And each planet is primarily dominated by one of the cartels, with the others having small presences there. So each planet pretty much requires you to get in good with a specific cartel to make things a little easier while you're there. And on top of this, there's other things you can do everywhere. You can gamble. You can find collectibles. You can search the city to listen for pieces of intel. Then you can go find what those pieces of intel refer to. But the problem is, with all the stuff there is to do in this game, a lot of it just feels like busy work. And that oftentimes includes the story missions, unfortunately. And part of that is the various upgrades you get and benefits you unlock from getting in really good with the Syndicates are also minor. They never really feel like they are important enough to really bother with. Like, each of the Syndicates has cosmetic items you can get from them, which is great if you care about cosmetics, but they mean virtually nothing to me personally. It's a shame there's not really anything deeper here, as this game looks great. The shooting and speeder stuff works pretty well. Even the space combat's pretty good. But all of it's in service to what is just sort of bland busy work. So is Star Wars Outlaws worth your time and money? At its current price of $60 or $70? Absolutely not. And it really doesn't help the game's case that it keeps trying to sell you things whenever you go to the pause menu, as there's a lot of DLC you can buy, and a lot of aspects of this game have mini-games associated with them, like a rhythm game when you try to lockpick something, or a puzzle game to hack a computer. Interestingly, all of these mini-games can actually be turned off in the options. Individually too. It's almost like they knew these mini-games were more annoying than fun. And more annoying than fun is really what could be the tagline for this particular Star Wars game. So no, do not go spending full-price money on Star Wars Outlaws. If you are really morbidly curious, I'm sure this game will be $20 before too long. Get it then! Please do subscribe, comment, like, and tell your friends.